Previously on Out West.
Day 6 of our journey was a frustrating one for me personally. Let me explain. We started off in the morning at the Breckenridge Mountain campsite where we all slept in the Jeeps and had a pretty rough night of sleep. After getting up and packed up, we headed back down the mountain and searched for some breakfast. We ended up stopping at a place called the Blue Moose, which was an awesome spot right in the town of Breckenridge. Once we were finished with breakfast, we made the collective decision as a group to head back towards Denver in hopes that the Moore's Jeep was going to be ready to be picked up so we could continue on our adventure. However, this is where I got very frustrated, and these are the things that a lot of people don't typically put in their videos, but I want to share the ups and the downs that were part of this adventure. The down was, for me personally, was that it was 2 to 2.5 hours or more from the Front Range Mountains back to Denver to the auto shop. I didn't feel that it was necessary for us to continue making these treks back and forth to Denver to find out if the Jeep was ready or not, when we could just call and simply ask, is it ready to be picked up or not? I understand that the Moors, the way that Dennis looked at it was he didn't want to bother them. The more that somebody calls and bothers you, sometimes it makes some people want to work slower or maybe not do as good of a job, so he didn't want to bother the mechanics, so I totally understand that. But at the same time, it came at the expense of us having to stop our trip and stop what we're doing, leave where we're at, and head back to Denver, not knowing if the Jeep was for sure going to be ready or not. So this is what we did. We headed over Hoosier Pass, took the scenic way all the way back to Denver. We ended up at the Red Rocks Amphitheater, where they called to find out the status of the Jeep once we got to Denver, which didn't really make sense to me at the time. Why not call when we're in Breckenridge to find out in the morning versus wait a few hours into the morning, drive all the way to Denver, and then call? However, the Jeep still wasn't ready, so I was very frustrated today, and I just wasn't having a great day. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Regardless of the situation, we checked out Red Rocks Amphitheater and ended up getting a hotel just up the road, right off I-70 for the night. After some heart-to-heart talks with the group and where I was at personally, we talked it over and decided let's not continue to do what we were doing as far as making the trip back and forth. Let's wait and find out what's going on, and as soon as the Jeep's ready, then we'll head back. So let's continue our adventure, and that's what we did. So the next morning, we headed down into the town of Idaho Springs and decided that we were going to go try and find some trails to run. So this was the first time we ever ran some trails north of I-70, and that's where today's adventure begins. Starting off in Central City, just north of Idaho Springs, we ended up doing the Nevadaville Loop on Onyx Off-Road, which was really cool because we got to see some old mining ruins, which ended up taking us up a really bumpy and gravelly road where we ultimately stopped for some great photos. Share those on the screen now. But as we were finishing taking our photos, another group showed up, and it was a group from Toyota, which was really cool to see. They brought some brand new trucks and some not as brand new to share with some of their customers, and it was a pretty neat experience. The main guy gave a presentation, and I made a whole video about it. I'll put a link to that in the description below, and I'll put it up on the screen now so you guys can check that out. From there, we continued down Apex Road. We ended up taking Apex Road all the way down to Tolland. So today's video is gonna be about us taking Corona Pass to, I think it's like Rollins East Trail and then Rollins West Trail. If I say that wrong, I'll put that on the screen now, what they're actually called. But something like that takes us to the top of this mountain pass, and it's supposed to be a real easy trail. Just looking here at the beginning, it looks like it's just a little bumpy, a little rocky, kind of everything you'd expect being here in the Rockies. So we've got ourselves, Dennis and Steph in the rental still, and should be a beautiful day. The aspen trees are really starting to pop. Some of them still haven't changed, so hopefully we'll get some nice views. Hope you guys enjoy the ride. Starting out, they got this sign here that talks about recognizing avalanche danger, which is pretty cool. Now this video isn't sponsored by Onyx Off-Road, but that's what we use for our off-road maps, especially when we get out here in these mountains, and there's no service. You have to download this stuff ahead of time to be able to see exactly where you're going. And from everything I've read online, it says that you want to have GPS out here, you want maps, because you could accidentally take a side trail and not realize it, and you could get lost out here very easily. So I'm very thankful that we're running Onyx Off-Road for our mapping system. If you guys are interested in checking Onyx Off-Road out, you can feel free to use our code. I'll put that on the screen right now. It's Jeep Boys with a Z 50, and that'll give you 50% off a subscription to Onyx Off-Road. And I think it's for the Elite membership, if I'm not mistaken, because they have a premium membership as well. We run the Elite just because it gives us all of the private property lines and shows all the national park and national forest lines, so we can see exactly what type of land that we are on. We're a little bouncy here. That's my plug for Onyx Off-Road. Even though this video is not sponsored by them, we just thoroughly enjoy using their mapping system. Found a marmot. I'm in! we're sitting here on this Corona Pass, Rollins Pass East. Kind of has two names here on Onyx. We just passed Yankee Doodle Lake, which was a gorgeous lake, but now we're at a section where we're on a shelf road, climbing up to the top of this mountain, and here comes a Jeep. I'll show you guys. So you got to kind of look ahead. That's kind of the MO when you're out here on these mountain roads. Like, you never know. You got to be watching ahead where there's places for people to pass, because there's a large area right here. So we're gonna let them pass through. They got a nice blue 24 Wrangler.
How's it going?
Hey, I got a question for you. Does it continue on up there?
Yeah.
It does continue through?
No, not to Winter Park.
It doesn't, okay.
No, it's not. There's a tunnel that's blocked off.
Okay.
That's been blocked off for decades.
Really?
But
Okay.
you can drive almost all the way to the top.
Okay, perfect.
And there's a couple lakes and parking lots and stuff like that.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too. Pretty Jeep.
Same to you.
See, they got the side panels out of the top. All right, well, that's what they're saying, so we'll see when we get up there. So let's see if I can show it real quick here. Try and zoom in. I'll show a picture on the screen too. We traveled all the way up here to the top to find that there's a tunnel at the very top of the pass, and it is blocked. Somebody that we passed, well, you guys heard it. They told us that looks like it's been blocked for decades. So unfortunate, we are having to turn around and head back down, but it doesn't make this trail any less pretty. It just changes the complexion of the trail and how you handle it. This is definitely an out and back and not a through like we had anticipated. So we're gonna have to kind of hustle to get back down, find some service, make some food, maybe figure it out. But we're gonna go back through this little canyon cutout in the mountain, which is kind of neat and a little scary at the same time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that trail. Like I said, that was a Corona Pass, also labeled Rollins Pass East. There is a Rollins Pass West, which is what we would have thought we could connect to, but apparently that wasn't the case. All right, well, let's see if we can make it back through here and find Dennis and Steph. They waited on the other side of this little canyon. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for today's video. That was a fun trail. It wasn't difficult, just bumpy, bouncy, rocky. There's a few spots that have a few rock climbs that you can do. Some of them are optional. Just nothing hard, just fun. Real scenic. The views here on Corona Pass, Rollins Pass East, real pretty. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did, be sure to give us a big like, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions or you're curious about this area or our Jeep or our setup or anything, just put them down in the comments. We'd love to converse with you guys and hear what you have to say. All right, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.